Welcome to the OAPN Podcast with your host, Adarsh Sakare. No bullshit, no cuts. 100% raw conversations with 0% fucks to give. We don't encourage the consumption of alcohol, but if you want to open up a cold one while you watch this, it's not a bad idea.
Welcome to episode number 81 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. I think we kind of started rolling this before we started rolling this. So that's that. Episode 80 was pretty nice. We had Azan here from the hub, and I think it was nice. It was a long time coming. Lot of insights coming in from Azan, with regards to the kind of work we're trying to do with the work he's doing. I think it was pretty awesome. This is another Sunday, another early Sunday, I must say. It's quite a day for India because the World Cup final is happening today, so we're also excited about that. No idea how that's going to go. But today we have yet another interesting person in the studio. Before I speak a little more about him, let's say hi to Akhil Oso.
Hello, episode 81. Let's
81.
go. Are you not signed to the hub?
Not yet. Not yet. I think that was the whole conversation yesterday in terms of what can we do together? Because we never met him or we never met the team, and yesterday was kind of the first meet. Anyway, that being said, Akhil is here. Akhil Oso. Oso is, let me get this right.
Serve, organize.
Observe,
I knew you knew it. I just want to say it.
Observe. He just wanted to get it out. He's like, I'm going to say it right. But I think it sounds pretty cool, man. Observe, serve, and organize.
There's got a really interesting meaning behind it.
Yeah, we're going to start with that. But a little about Akhil for the ones who already know him, and maybe for the ones who've just discovered him. There's one thing being a musician that he is, and being the artist that he is, but I think what always stands out for us as a podcast, and for me personally, has been the journey of transformation, right? And I think from what I got to know about you, I think transformation has been real.
Yeah.
In all ways possible, not just physical but also mentally. Yeah. I think that transformation is what kind of drives us to cover these stories, and that's pretty clear from Akhil's journey. It's also this loud fucking positivity that he walks with, right? And when you look around the world, there are 100 things to complain about, and there are 100 things people are going through. And once in a while, you come across people like Akhil who are just walking with positivity almost every day, right? So that's nice. He's had a pretty crazy journey with his music as well. I think it's going to be interesting to see what's the type of music he used to make, what are the things he's writing now, what are the things he's writing about, why is he writing about them. It's also going to be nice to know where he's headed with all this and try and figure that out. He's got a vibe to him, of course. I think your whole look is a vibe.
Thank you.
And I'm a big fan of people who stand out in terms of how they look, right? You clearly stand out. Let it be the hair he carries around. It's a vibe. The jacket he's wearing, by the way, is designed by him, is what I hear.
Yes, and the chain.
He's wearing a chain. We're going to talk about that. So it's a vibe. It's nice. So these are things that we really kind of dig. And this is episode 81. Let's get into it. Welcome, Akhil.
Hello.
What's going on?
Into it. It's been interesting. We just did a good festival lineup for the first time. I've done festivals before, like you said, in the music career, under like different monikers, but this is the first time as like Akhil Oso that we did like some good festival lineups. So we did Soul Sante, and then we were like at Phoenix Market City. It's been quite interesting.
Let's start with Oso. Oso.
Yeah, not to be mistaken with Osho.
Yeah,
but
sounds like can be
slightly cult.
You're anyway headed to become like
a cult.
like a cult. So you take the H out of Osho and you have Akhil.
I took out the bad. We kept the good.
Oh, that's a longer conversation. Anyway, tell me about this, and where did it come to you, and what pill did you have to pop to come up with this?
I'm still kind of on the trip, so I'm not talking about it right now.
Okay.
But basically, I used to be this rapper called 2EM, which was a fusion of Tupac and Eminem. That was my initial like rapper name before I became a producer, engineer, and everything else. So in that journey from like becoming 2M to Akhil Oso, my mom had a lot to do with my entire life. She's a single mother, and she raised me with a lot of like, I want you to be the person in your heart and stop pretending to be someone else. And when it became like 2M, I put myself in this box, because if anyone follows Tupac or Eminem, you're kind of like stuck to being either this kind of lyricist or that kind of sound or anything else like that, right? And in that journey, my mom was just like, you need to stop trying to figure out other people to make your beats and your engineering, your sound and everything else. Because I used to spend almost a year in a studio, in so many different studios, just mixing one song. And it never sounded like how I wanted it to sound at all, ever. And then my mom was like, you need to like figure this out. You need to figure out engineering. You need to figure out production. You need to have your like thought process in the entire thing. And in that journey, I realized that like coming out of this box of trying to be somebody else and finding my own sound, my own self, I also want to use my own name. And that's when I decided to just go with Akhil. And I wanted to add more value to it. So OSO is what I would say like a life principle. It has nothing to do with me. Anyone can be OSO. Like it means observe, serve, organize. It could be a small pothole on the road or something as big as global warming, right? You observe the problem, you seek the solution, and you serve it with the right intent, and you organize the right people and resources to get there. So I wanted it to be my name, my actual name, and something that people can take away from it. So that's how Akhil Oso came to be.
It's pretty awesome. I think what your mom told you is probably, and this is the thing, right? Like these are such simple things, but people go wrong in their whole career and try and figure out what they went wrong with. And it's mostly going to be you were never true to yourself, or you were never your authentic self. And the fact that you added Akhil, you got back Akhil to your actual, say, I don't know what you want to call it, your stage name. Whatever. Yeah. Can I call it a stage name?
Yeah, you can call it stage name.
A stage name, yeah. And then things start to become real. And it's not a rule to have like a different name. And I respect the 2M name that you had. But for some of us, it's always better to just remain authentic to who we are. And the fact that your mom gave you that is so fucking beautiful, right?
Thank you.
Because she gets it then.
Yeah, I think Abraham Lincoln said it like really, really well. He said, everything I am and everything I ever will be, I credit to my mother. And it's the same with me.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't have done anything, and I don't think I can do anything in the future either without the foundation that my mom is daily setting in my mind, She's an amazing, amazing human being.
So you pretty much grew up with your mom?
Yeah. My dad split when I think it was like in the 8th grade summertime or 9th grade summertime, one of those two. But that's when my dad and I love my dad as well. Like we're starting to have a good relationship now. Yeah. It was based off respect for the longest amount of time, and it's like slowly turning into love. But also like understanding love and understanding that he wanted,
different things.
And he fell in love outside that relationship with my mother. So it was respect. But then when he left from, I think like the 9th grade onwards, I was kind of like raised by my mom. And then I think post 11th grade, I moved out of my house.
Oh, wow.
So I stayed in Bangalore, the same city as my mother, but outside my house for the longest amount of time. And I think like 2 years back, I moved back in with mom.
No siblings?
I have a younger brother. Shout out Devin.
What's he up to?
He's an event promoter, currently working with a company called Centigrade. He does a lot of events and promotion, and I think he's going to start his own stuff. Sorry, Centigrade.
Yeah. That's sweet. Yeah, I think the fact that the fact that you mentioned that you've now kind of started to understand your father better. I think that in a way is the start of the healing as well, right? Because I feel like when these things happen, we can't go into the right and wrong. It happened. But the fact that you're starting to rebuild that is also a way of saying, hey, you know what, I accept everything that went on in my life.
Yeah.
And that kind of becomes the freedom to be who you are. Because the longer you take to accept what happened, the longer you're not able to be yourself. So have you been feeling more free, per se, after you've started to realign with your dad?
I think like acceptance with my father has been like a long road. It took a lot of time to understand. Even like till today, there's like aspects of, childhood trauma or trauma with my mother that I still haven't brought up in conversation with him. I don't think actually I've ever had a conversation with him about any of that stuff, because like after he left, eventually I left as well. And I've been very removed from my family for a long time. But right now, I don't even think like I want to sit down and dwell into it.
Yeah.
I'm still understanding what the word healing means.
Yeah.
Where I'm at right now in that phase is that I can look at it without resentment.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I would feel okay about it.
You feel okay about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the healing can happen at the back of your head as well. You don't need to like face it head on, right?
Yeah.
Like let it take its own course and you live your life and things will anyway fall in place. And when you moved out of your home, then who are the folks that kind of were around you? Who are the folks that kind of supported you through this crazy?
My mother,
Yeah?
on every single aspect. Everybody in my family was just like, that's the stupidest thing he can do. Because at the time I was horrible at every aspect in my life except for music. I was a DJ at the time. I went from like being a metal artist to a DJ to EDM producer to a rapper to now where I'm at doing everything, right? But at the time I was a DJ and I was doing super good as a DJ. I was opening for Barclay. I had a residency at Pebbles. I was supposed to do Sunburn as well, and was doing really, really good as a DJ. So apart from that, every other aspect of my life was trash. I was horrible in college. I was horrible in school. I was on like a whole lot of like negative things, like substances, drinking, all that kind of stuff, right? And my mom just was like, okay, if you need this to like open your wings, then you have to take that step. So it was my mother, and when I moved out, it was just me and my little dog Ollie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're just both of you.
Yeah, I didn't even actually have Ollie when I moved out. I was running from my house to where I used to live, to my mom's house. And on the way, there was this little puppy like in the center of the road with her leg broken. I just picked her up and I was like, hey, this is my dog now. So yeah, that's Ollie. Do you have dogs?
Sweet. No.
Have you ever had pets?
I've tried, but I think things at home have never like supported it, and it just wasn't fair for the dog. If I got to say that, right? Because then I don't want to force it. When it has to happen, let it happen. I think that's pretty crazy, man. And let's just go back a little more, right? So you went to Cottons.
No.
You went to Christ. No,
Bethany.
School.
School was weird. I went to Vidya Shilp, Gear, and then Bethany, and then I went to Christ.
You went to Christ. And was there music in school? Were you inclined?
I was not musically inclined. Actually, the last year or so of my school, I was kind of musically inclined. Shout out to Miriam ma'am. She was the head of the theater department. And I was this fat kid, like super, super fat. I was 149 kgs in school, like massive, right? And I wanted to just be in my head, there was like this, how you have these jocks or the cool kids or everything else, right? Yeah. And different people in school used to be like, oh, the sports guys or like these people or those people are the cool kids. In my head, the theater kids were the coolest kids. And I just wanted to be in that club so badly, right? So I just went and spoke to Miriam ma'am and I was like, I know I don't fit a single character. She was doing a production. It was called Under the Sea. I know I don't fit a single character in this thing, but is there any way I can just be part of the theater production? So she made me the sea cow. Oh, wow. I was in this big yellow jumpsuit kind of outfit, which she took the outfit back. I want that back. But I was the sea cow. I had 4 lines on stage and I got to miss my exams.
What about it did you like? Why did you want to be there?
I think the fact that someone finally believed in the aspect of I can be more than school was dope. Was like really, really dope.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of everything, maybe.
Yeah, I think my teachers were really cool too, but they never like saw anything post academics. And I think Miriam ma'am being like a theater teacher, I don't think she even liked academics. And she and like Joel sir were just like, you know what? If you want a shot so badly in theater, believe in yourself. You should be capable of doing it. And then like that took off. That was really cool. Being on stage and like performing and stuff like that was really cool. I just had 4 lines, but it was cool. Yeah.
Where's the accent from?
I think comes from my family, comes from a lot of the music that I listen to. You are the environment that you have around you. And most of my life I used to just listen to a lot of English music. Not like American music, but mostly like British music. That's like my roots.
Yeah.
And my mom, if you understand, like Bangalore back in the day was very British at one point in time, especially my grandmom's era and stuff like that. Okay. Most of her friend circles and family circles were all like very British influenced. My grandfather was in the Masons. So I think that influence just carried on. Yeah. I try to like fix it. But if I speak Tamil, I speak it perfectly.
Oh, yeah? Without the accent?
Without the accent. It's just,
that's
like
pretty
that.
crazy,
But I'm not aware of how to do it though. If I could just flip a switch, I don't think I would.
Wow. So anyway, I think that stage opportunity was great, and shout out to your teachers.
Miriam ma'am. Shout out to Miriam ma'am.
I hope you listen to this. But
Chandrashekar was also in the same thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet stuff. And then where did that kind of spark come through, saying, hey, you know what, I want to write my own stuff and I want to express?
It's such a weird story, to be fair. There's this friend circle, Ajay, Kishore, and a bunch of other people from my school, and they started a metal band. And I wanted to be in the band so badly, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't play an instrument. I couldn't do anything at all. And I know they wanted to do metal. And at the time, I couldn't even sing, right? So I just started screaming in my room, trying to growl. And I had just screaming. There was no teacher, no nothing else. Just screaming in the room, trying to growl. And we used to always chill out in my house after school, because like my house and school was like one road away. Right. So I knew they were coming to my house that day, and I ran to the and they don't even know the story, but like I ran to the balcony to see where they were walking in. And as they entered, I ran into my room, closed the door, and I stood like right next to the door like that. And I was just growling Lamb of God. And I could hear them outside be like, oh, dude, we should have him in the band.
Are you serious? You're not making this up?
No, on God. That's how I got into writing music. And then me and Ajay wrote like a lot of the songs for that band. It was pretty cool. It was called Revolution Triggered. One show, the video somewhere on YouTube. But yeah, that started a lot of stuff.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
What's kind of the first piece of music that you wrote yourself? What's the song that you kind of feel like, yeah, that's
as Akhil Oso or in life? As Akhil Oso? Wow. I'm sitting on like almost like 300 songs.
Are you serious?
So, yeah. So it's like tough to pull back. I can talk about the first song that we released as Akhil Oso. It was called Resurrection.
Yeah.
And I knew as coming from 2M to back to Akhil Oso, I had to come back with something meaningful.
Yeah.
And if you look at the production style behind Resurrection also, it's got a lot of Indian influence. And that's my roots. I love to have my roots in everything I'm doing. And the lyrics kind of reflect that, where we talk a lot about like the colonial empire and talk about my struggles of like coming through addiction, coming through different phases in my life, even like the single parent kind of stuff, to like talking about how I believe I'm like the third son of Shiva. Oh, wow. And then that's the whole progression to Resurrection. But yeah, that was an interesting piece. And not only the fact that the music was very unique, the production and the lyrics, but it was also like this whole game plan of how I'm going to come back as Akhil Oso. I went missing. So I blacked out my Instagram for like a year and a half or 2 years, completely off everything else. And like a lot of people in the state, at least in Bangalore, knew me as 2M. We did like, before I stopped doing music as 2M, I did about 100, almost close to 100 shows in 1 year as 2M. And then when I blacked out, it was overnight, everything just switched off, right? And a lot of people were like, is he dead? What's happening? All these kind of things like that. And I didn't answer a single question at all. So the idea was that when I came back as Akhil Oso, I was going to say, I'm back, I'm doing music, whatever, still as 2M. And I went to this forest to do the shoot, and then I go missing there, and then I get pronounced dead, and then Resurrection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty...
cult-like thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, man, you're attracting this shit. I'm telling you. You're attracting this shit. Would you say that after the resurrection, if I may say so?
Yeah, you can say that. I like that.
Yeah. The music's been aligned with who you really are.
Yes.
Is everything I'm doing now?
Everything I'm doing now is so something I like. You know, I'm not trying to do anything in a box. For example, like I could be in a room with like an Afro pop artist, and they can say, hey, can you create something along these lines and be on the song? And I can find how I can love it. Before I try to find a template and be the template, I can now find myself in pretty much any sound, any genre of music, and just like genuinely love what I'm doing, which is cool.
That's pretty awesome, right? I think it fuels you when you're able to put out something that really aligns with yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what that also unlocks? It also unlocks not giving a fuck about how it does in terms of getting received.
Manager does, but yeah.
Yeah, that's her job. She gets to take that part of it. You're just like, you know what, this is the truth.
Yeah.
I'm just going to live with it. Wow. But I must make you happy that the thing is, you won't question yourself in terms of how it came out.
No.
Because that's who you are.
Yeah.
And you can't change that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the process to that is also cool because like before I had to think about it. Now I never think about anything. Like I can just touch a computer and start making a song, like a tune already. So it kind of feels like it already existed inside me. And similarly, when I hear a beat and I start writing, before it used to be like, what is the topic I'm writing about? Or how big is the structure? What is the chorus? Nothing. Now I just listen to it and I'm already like writing it. So it feels like almost like I'm not the one creating it. And it's kind of like coming from a different place. So it's this whole thing of like, I'm no longer in this template. And I just genuinely feel like whatever I'm doing now is 110% me.
Lovely. I think I jumped the gun with the conversation a little, and I'll come back to this piece. But some of these things I definitely don't want to miss capturing is, so you studied what? What did you study in
college?
Yeah.
HECA, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're saying 11th and 12th?
Yeah, I dropped out after that.
Oh, you dropped out after that.
I actually got a partial scholarship to Harvard to do marketing. And I
Oh, wow.
begged my mom. Yeah, I begged my mom. I was like, can I just take 1 year to prove myself as a DJ? And she's like, fuck it. If you can do it, you can do it. So that's how that happened. And I was like, fuck college.
So you were like 18 when you quit?
Don't go to college, do drugs.
That's what you take away from this podcast. From everything else.
Take away anything. And don't say yes to college.
And everyone who's watched till like the 24th minute will be like, that's it. I heard what I wanted to hear.
That's when the retention spikes.
Yeah. Let's smoke some bitch. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, you got me distracted there. Yeah, so you quit.
Yeah, but I also got into college in a stupidly funny way. I finished 10th grade and I couldn't pass anything till I got to the 10th grade. I failed 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
What do you mean you failed? Like you repeated?
My dad knew the principal, so
that's the answer.
I got conditional.
You don't
promotion.
repeat the year if your dad fucking knows the principal.
And I got like conditionally promoted every single grade: 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. My dad and the principal called my dad, and he's like, "Your son is going to fail the 10th grade."
I can't do shit there.
And my dad is like, you have to figure this out. So that's the first time ever Bethany got this board called NIOS, which is I think NOIS, whatever. This National Open Schooling something system, and that they literally brought that to Bethany because I would have failed 10th grade otherwise.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then I passed that.
Wow.
I did spectacularly good at that. Surprisingly.
Yeah, we got to start talking about the right things your dad did as well.
My dad, he was like that proper Tamilian father. You better do something in school. There's no chance of being a doctor or anything, but like do something in school. And then after 10th, I just chilled for a long time, and I realized that like a lot of my friends are going to college, and I didn't apply to a single college. I didn't even know that's something you have to do.
What was the faith though?
The faith
that you didn't need to.
I don't know. I think it's like the fact that like after 10th, I started getting a lot of attention, especially like the DJ thing started off, the band stuff started off, and it started getting a lot of attention. So I kind of just zoned out. And then my mom eventually was just like, "Hey, your friends are all in colleges. Don't you need to be in a college?" And I was like, "I think I have a couple more months before I can just go and apply." And she's like, "Just go to Christ and see what the situation is." So I went to Christ, and they were writing their like first semester exams. I was like completely like late on that thing. And I was like, "Okay, it is what it is." And I started leaving from there. And then this principal came up, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm hopefully trying to get admitted into your college." And he's like, "We closed admissions like a few months back, but we have something called as evening college." And you can join Christ Evening College because you can speak English, and no one else in evening college could speak English.
Wow.
Yeah, and that started like a crazy thing, because then when I joined evening college, there was a teacher there, I think Sajina ma'am, shout out to Sajina ma'am. She was like, I'll let you get away with pretty much anything if you can just like represent us in different extracurricular activities. And I've never done any of that. I did one in school, but she's like, just go try out for the debate team. And I went there, did pretty good on the prelims. And then I was like, I can do this. Like, I can genuinely like talk. I can genuinely like market, all these kind of things like that. That's when that like entire mindset switched for me. And I started doing really good in it, to the point where I outperformed Morning College, Joseph's, Germans, and in every single competition. By the end of first year, I had like 42 something first place certificates and 12% attendance. And Christ, no one's done that yet. Yeah. And when I graduated from the 12th, I was valedictorian for like the morning and the evening match. And again, still the first person in history to ever do that, Christ.
Yeah. Talk about giving the right opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where it is. It's a teacher who doesn't believe in you versus a teacher who knows where to put you. It's so crazy.
It's wild.
If the same woman said, hey, you know what, like, you're not getting any of this, and then you don't go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
But there's a person who comes along and kind of decides where you need to go with this and where you need to be placed, and suddenly things start to work.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, maybe a little about, what do you feel now about the education system? Is it like getting better here? What is that one thing that you'd want to change about it?
I think
because it's had such a crazy influence on you.
I think like almost not trying to like define a subject, but figure out how like Sadhguru, I think, has this an amazing school thought process where the person just goes there and learns everything, and eventually the stuff they start performing well in is the field that they're taught. You know, and they're not excluded from learning anything else. I like that thought process, because like, how the hell in 6th grade am I going to choose commerce and science? Like, I don't even know what that means in 6th grade, right? And I think the whole system is just kind of designed towards like, what is this guy going to be in 5 years? Predefined, which job position, how you're going to get a resume done, all that kind of stuff. And you've killed that whole brain of the child. You've literally reprogrammed him to be a machine or like fit in this template. And I spent a lot of my like life just breaking from that template. And I guess it was good that I wasn't good in school.
It worked out right.
It worked out well.
That's pretty awesome.
Drop out of college.
That's what it's all going back to. So you were a DJ, and that started paying you some good buck, I'm guessing.
As a DJ, I was making good money, yes.
Yeah, it was. But then I think what must have happened, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were doing this and you were enjoying the way the crowd was experiencing your show. But then maybe that's where you decided, hey, you know what, they got to listen to what I make.
Identity crisis. As a DJ, I realized like I couldn't say anything because I'm either playing someone else's music or doing something else for somebody else. And I had a lot to say and a lot to do in this world. And it was me kind of figuring out like life purpose and life goals and realizing that this is not the genre to communicate anything in. As a rapper, I can go out on the street and perform. You know, I can't do that as a DJ because you need everyone to be like smashed in a club or whatever. Even when you start learning how to DJ, your whole thought process as a DJ is, of course, they have to have a good time, read the crowd, all that kind of stuff. But you're there to make sure the bar sales go up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's your like job at the end of the day.
That's your core work.
Yeah. And I feel like I had a lot to say. I have a lot to say as well. So I needed to pick a field that like I could communicate through. And hip hop was something that I was into like from the 6th grade. I was just rapping Slim Shady lyrics all my life. And I was just like, I can rap. I can genuinely rap. And that's how that took off.
Do you still DJ?
No. Although, I've been requested to. But no, I don't DJ.
What's paying the bills now?
Right now, just blind faith and luck.
But give me the real answer.
Nothing, like we get some production stuff here and there. We do some editing and shooting for some people. I have a music studio and a video studio, so we do like some projects for other people as well. And gigs are just starting to pay off now, and they're doing pretty good because a lot of the shows you get paid like pennies. Before I got my manager, and then after I got my manager, shout out Aditi, no one else can get my manager. But after I got my manager, I started like the bag changed. The perspective changed, the bag changed, and I was like, I had to play all the roles before she got involved.
Yeah.
And I think like after her getting involved, I can just focus on the music, and like the other roles seem to be doing much better on their own. Yeah.
What are these gigs expecting from you, and why is it hard sometimes to get the right pay?
The system of payment through a lot of the clubs and stuff like that is absolutely dreadful. Like even like big hotels like the and stuff like that, they're just absolutely dreadful in the way they pay. I'd had to wait 4 months for a payment of like a small fee. That's one, is that the time period with, like in any other field, you go do your job, you're getting paid, or you're getting paid in advance,
on
right?
the day,
Unless you're a big artist nowadays, you don't even get paid in advance. You have to really like have a huge name before you get paid in advance and get paid right on the gig day. In this case, it like takes a long time for the payments to get cleared, and a lot of times you get in this horrible like club circle where you're not even there to perform your music. Like I became a rapper and an artist, a producer, everything else to do my music, right? In this case, you're only getting to go to a club if you can bring an X amount of crowd.
Okay.
So if your crowd is good enough and your music is trash, you can still go to perform and like get the money that you want to get. But if your music is phenomenal and you just want a platform, no venue is ready to take you. Like genuinely zero venues are ready to take you. I remember when I did the switch from 2M to Akhil Oso, it was like a 2-year hiatus. So almost every friend in the industry that I had was off this belief system that, okay, this guy is like, there's no one who's going to come to shows anymore. Probably everybody's forgotten about this guy. And I reached out to a lot of friends. I'm not going to say the name of the person, but like a friend of mine who was my junior in school, from like we had a bond like this in school. Even till today, he's still like a brother to me. But I remember reaching out to him because he used to do a lot of events, still does a lot of events, very tight with clubs. And I was like, dude, I'm coming back and doing this music thing, everything else. I need an opportunity. And his response, dude, you don't even have the clout. Who's going to come to your show?
Wow.
Now we're doing good. Now we're selling out shows though.
Yeah, pretty, ballsy of people to put down someone else like that, right? Because what gives them the stand to do that? I think that's what I've always thought about, right? Like,
could
how
I pick
do you
your brain for a second?
Yeah.
If you're an artist, right?
Yeah.
And you're a brand new artist, and clubs are not going to take you in because you don't have the clout, and you want to perform your music, how would you do it?
Oh, me, like, okay, and knowing that no one's gonna be,
and you want to catch like your local audience, so it's not like posting on social media. How would you go perform?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like reach out to folks who are on that lineup or on that show, and then maybe request like a slot there, because I know I'm not going to get the clout. I'm not going to get the people there. Mostly request people on the lineup saying, can I get like 5 minutes stage time or something like that?
The Gary Vee way.
Yeah, maybe that's the way I'd look at it. Yeah.
That's interesting, dude. I think like the whole opening act is like the only way to get into it.
Yeah.
It's just genuinely like begging to, hey, can I just come before there's any crowd and just start playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the only way to get
That's the only way. There's no other way. And that's that's doable. It's not hard, but it's hard, but it's doable.
Yeah. It's a vicious cycle too, because like you're trying to get into the place that doesn't value you as a musician, but just values your crowd.
Yeah.
Right. And like recently had this really interesting conversation with Aditi, and we were talking about doing shows at places where people are not coming for the alcohol of the club, but are primarily coming for the music. And we're trying to figure out the right venue for it. And
there are not many.
Where do you go? Unless you like rent out a space all for yourself, where do you go?
Yeah, I think that's where this is interesting, right? Because what you just said is part of the culture that exists. The culture isn't where you want it to be yet. And this is where you people like you have to be the ones who open those doors. And it's almost like educating the audience. Right? It's almost about educating the audience. It's like this with comedy, right? I was speaking about this to someone else on the podcast the other day about education of improv, right? Improv was new to the audience here, but then now people are more comfortable with it. And I think it's the same with you. Like now that you're saying, hey, you know what, I need 100 folks to come into a club, not to just get drunk and dance, but to actually connect with my music. I don't think the people aren't ready for that. I think they haven't thought about it.
And there's no space for it.
Yeah, there's no space for it. So
I had a new idea actually.
Yeah, sure.
I'm working on it. Technically, it's still illegal, but I'm trying to figure out the loophole.
Tell me about it.
I want to take lorries, like trucks.
Okay.
You know those like big trucks?
Okay.
I want to perform on the truck and just drive around the city.
Why? Is it illegal?
Apparently, you can't play music from a truck. Yeah, but fuck it.
But what about like I don't know, maybe park the truck somewhere?
Yeah, but it's not as fun. I want to just drive through
Okay, so the driving is important.
Yeah, just drive through Brigade Road, Commercial Street. Everyone's like, what the hell is happening in that truck?
I think it brings up an interesting question. Would Akhil have done better in another part of the world?
No, I don't know, actually. But I don't think so. I like what I'm doing now. I like every part of the process that made me get here.
But it's also this, because of the resurrection, Akhil is supposed to be here.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
If it was 2M,
Yeah, he could have done something.
he could have done something
yeah,
else.
Agreed.
Now because you're Akhil, you're supposed to be here.
Yeah,
You-
100%.
And this is the cards you're dealt. And this is what you need to deal with.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think you would have done better somewhere else?
Impossible.
No?
Like, I went to Dubai for work the last 10 days. And
You would have
then,
done amazing in Dubai, actually. This concept would be so dope in Dubai.
wow. Yeah. So anyway, on the exactly on those lines, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it there, and I said, if I open up a podcast here, and there are many amazing folks there who I can interview and things like that. But somewhere in in my blood, I know that I can't leave this country. Like I'll travel for work, but with the type of vision that we have, I need it to be rooted out of here, and I need it to grow here.
That's dope.
And I think that's what it is, right? With art, there are things that you haven't decided for yourself. There are things that are already decided for you. And on your journey, you figure out that if you try to move away from those duties, you're not going to get to where you want to be. Because there are reasons bigger than just achieving your personal success to the journey that you're having. Because now, say for example, you're able to create this space, which is only about music and not just drinking. Do you realize how many more artists are going to benefit out of that? Like, for the next 2 generations, people will remember saying, hey, you know what, Akhil was the guy who kind of pioneered this. So maybe that's the plan.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe that's the plan. But anyway, coming back to some of these things. So when you're performing these days, what's the feeling like? Do you feel like you need to be a bigger artist than you are? Do you feel like you're not there yet? Do people look down at you? How are you feeling on stage with other artists?
I think it's like in a cool place. I'm gonna answer it in like 2 ways.
Yeah.
First, like how do other artists and like treat me as such? We're doing really well.
Okay.
As an artist, we're doing really, really well. Like so, it's like any place that I'm going to, any club that I'm going to, whether I'm performing or not, like you're gonna hear like at least 10-15 people just screaming, "Oh, so!" like pretty loud. Like recently went to socials because one of my friends was hosting an event. The DJ just turned the console off and just chanted OSO, and the crowd responded. Like I just walked in. That's it. So like we're getting to that point where like people are like recognizing that whole thing. But I got this like really interesting and one of the most valuable pieces of advice from a person called Saurav recently.
Okay.
And he's like, there's a lot of ups and downs in life. And if you get addicted to the up or you get addicted to the down, you're never going to work out. You're never going to take the next step. All you got to do is figure out the process.
Yeah.
Every day, just wake up, fall in love with the process and repeat the process. That's it.
Yeah.
If you can do the process super, super well, everything else will work out. And that's been like the mission for the last like month. It's just the process and things are going well after that. You know, like the emotions don't get involved. The highs, the lows, the crowd doesn't get involved. Like I'm performing and there's like people all around just jump in or everything like that. The shows are really wild.
Yeah.
We have mosh pits, people singing the lyrics, everything else. But if I get stuck in that, then I forget the process.
Forget the process.
If I get stuck in the fact that, I wish I was in New York doing this, I forget the process. So it comes always back now to the process. Every day, just wake up, do the process. That's it.
Yeah. And that kind of becomes your duty, right? Like you're saying, that's where I serve the music.
Yeah.
And everything else is just a byproduct of it. And it's also this, I put this up on my story a few weeks back. It's like he says, Charlie Chaplin once says that if you look too closely into life, you become serious about it. But if you take it and you keep it far, then it becomes a joke. Right? So, all the up and downs that you were mentioning, if you just are able to detach from it, and if you're able to keep it at a distance, and then you laugh about it, about both the ups and downs. So the ups won't like give you this ego. The downs won't fuck you up. You're just laughing about it, saying, "Oh man, this is just funny, like fucking like it's too funny."
Charlie Chaplin was cool.
Yeah,
he was like a real gangster.
The things he says, like it's pretty gangster.
He's a gangster guy. He did the Hitler movie, right?
Yeah,
where he was playing Hitler. That was an amazing movie.
Who are some of the folks that you kind of look up to in your scene right now, where you feel like they've done some good work?
I feel like it keeps changing. The current for me is Tyler and Kanye. Tyler the Creator and Kanye West. Now if you hear a lot of my sound, it's not actually, my sound doesn't sound like anybody, but I feel like I'm the second coming of Kanye West in a way, Nice. Like I am the next Kanye West. I am 100% taking that route. You could say like back in the day, maybe it was like more like the Dr. Dre route or the Timbaland route or even Pharrell. Pharrell's a huge inspiration as well. But now I feel like I'm a lot more Kanye West and Tyler the Creator, because with them, it's not just the music. The music, like you said, like it's so second nature now, that I just create without ever thinking about creating. And like I'm now just moving that creation into every aspect of my life. And in that way, I think Kanye West and Tyler are huge inspirations.
That's why you're aligned with.
You?
In terms of?
Podcasting.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. But of course, Joe Rogan was the initial, kind of inspiration. But I started listening to like 10 other podcasts over time. In terms of an interviewing style, I think David Letterman was someone who I really kind of aligned with the way he interviewed people. I think it's a mix of some of these folks.
You got that like calm David Letterman energy.
I think it's subconscious, but it's there.
I feel like I could just open up.
But I love the guy.
Current favorite podcast?
Interesting.
Only one.
Oh, this one you said?
Just one. Who's your favorite current?
I got a
best podcast.
Oh man, just making this difficult.
Okay, I'll make it easier. Indian and international.
Indian, I must say that I don't think I'll ever be able to like any other podcast other than myself, because I just don't see it. I look around, I don't find it.
Wow.
I'm not in love with any Indian podcast right now.
Interesting.
Because it's not where I wanted to be. I wish it was, but it's not. So if you want to ask me what's my favorite Indian podcast, it has to be this, because I'm working really hard to make it what it needs to be. And it's not around. It's not around.
International?
Yeah, international is interesting, but there is this show called The Flagrant.
Yeah, Flagrant.
Yeah.
Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Love him.
I think that's pretty surreal.
Yeah.
What I like about that podcast is, again, the journey he's had for himself as a comic.
Yeah.
To then becoming the mainstream comic that he is today. And then getting out his Netflix show, which no other comic would have ever done. Put in his own money. And then now one of his recent specials, put it out there for the folks to buy on mainstream platform. I think that vibe is something I really connect with.
Nice.
So that's a podcast I would say I would choose amongst
I think everyone loves that podcast. I like how it just is not pretentious.
And Akash is such a good layer to that whole conversation. I think that's also another reason I like it, because there's a good amount of Indian flavor to it, because I'm like, represent. So I think that kind of drives me to watch that show as well. But anyway, where are we going with this? I was talking about the comparison, the other part of the question that you missed was, are other artists giving you the respect you deserve.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
I've never had a position in my life where I wasn't respected by a colleague in a way. Yeah. People more senior than me, like who've been here for like years, people are just starting off. I've never been in a position where the industry doesn't respect me. Yeah.
What's the social media scene right now? Are you getting the clout that you need? Or
I guess
you deserve?
I guess in a way. I used to try to, again, Aditi's changed my life a lot. Like, because before she came in, I was like in that whole Gary Vee mindset where post every day 4 times kind of thing. like, and we were doing like different types of shows where I had like an alcohol show, I had a review show, just a bunch of series that were happening, and just posting nonstop, vlogging almost every fucking day, just putting out content, and completely forgot that I'm a musician. You know, till she could, like, when she came in, the first thing she said is just stop. And in fact, she wanted to do a complete Instagram blackout, and it was sensible in a way, but I think like I was so like caught up with like this whole like, I don't even think you know what you're doing with it, the kind of like mindset, and eventually just realized it, dude. Like, she was 100% right. It was just coming back to that essence of just being me, and in fact, the Instagram grew after that. Me not posting every day, me not posting like so many times, me not just going and like commenting on everything, like not posting so many stories, and just reducing and being super authentic and really caring about every piece of content. I think that made a big difference too, you know, because before it was just like so much had to go out, right? So we were just editing nonstop, and we couldn't take like a day to think about a piece of content, not even a day, right?
Few hours.
Few hours. Get it out. Now we can like sit on one piece of content for like a couple of days, really think, is it worth it? Is it good? Do I believe in it? Does the team resonate in it? You know, and then put it out there, and it's made a big difference.
As an artist, do you believe your music will stay relevant 20 years down the line?
Yeah. Want to know why?
Yeah, tell me.
Everything I'm dropping now, I made 5 years back, and it's still relevant. Like,
That's sweet.
It's because I authentically found my sound, right? Like, if I had to make a song now that sounds like Central C's Doja, right? It's not going to be like interesting a year from now. And I love Central C. There's nothing against Central C, but it's not going to be interesting from a year from now because that's a trend. Right? The reason you can sit down now and listen to Kanye's first album or listen to Infinite, right, is because it's so them. You can't really find anything else that sounds like it. So if I'm able to drop songs now that I made 5 years back, and people are dude like, whoa, dude, that's crazy, you're singing the stuff in the crowd and stuff like that, I think for sure, it's just gonna be eternally relevant. Yeah, especially when I get my cult.
And I think that's the thing about art. Like today, art has become content, first of all. And I feel like art and content are two different things. And content can be art, but art doesn't necessarily have to be
great
content,
point.
right?
That's a great point.
And that's why most artists are going through like mental shit in their heads, because they feel like as an artist they need to create content. Yeah, you need to, but not all the time, right? To create art, you kind of also got to disconnect and be in your zone, and then come back whenever you need to. Some of the other things that I want to kind of get a vibe from you. What's the scene been with relationship with money? Like how have you seen like, do you feel like it's abundant for you? Do you feel like it's been hard for you to gather?
It's been hard, dude. Honestly, without like a certain amount of support from my mother, it would have been nearly impossible. Because I would have to have just sold out. Sold out isn't like sold my soul to become like commercial as hell, you know. And in that way, the DJ opportunity is super easy. I'm not saying DJs don't have hard work.
Wow, that's an episode by itself.
If you're a DJ and you're like genuinely on there syncing and live playing and like live like doing a whole lot of stuff, that's a different ball game. Most people are just transitioning from one song to the other. That's not really difficult, but you can make a lot more money doing that than like pre-blowing up. And right now money is difficult, dude. Like, cause like everything that comes in goes straight back to like the work. Because I have to figure out like music videos have to be better than it, marketing campaigns have to be better, and you know, getting on playlisting, getting like heard outside India, all of this stuff. So anything that's coming in is going there. There's a lot of times where I'm just like borrowing, you know, to make sure like, because like I'm in this phase now
to make stuff.
You
borrowed money to make stuff.
100%.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, it's like in that, you know, like
what's the most you've ever borrowed to make stuff?
I think 70,000.
$70,000 to make
shit,
something.
I'm still paying off my studio.
Oh wow!
You know, that's like
and you
couple
borrowed
of
some
lakhs.
cash to to build that up.
Yeah, that's like a proper.
I can
massive,
understand.
Like not a massive. It's a big studio,
and the
but
type
really
of equipment
well
and
yeah.
And those things are crazy, right? And when you do them, you have absolutely no doubt in terms of is it a right decision or not, because
Agreed.
you know you need it.
Yeah.
Have you ever doubted your investments?
No. I don't think I've like yet doubted something that I've like invested in, because there's even, like I said, I'm sitting on so many songs, right? I'm sitting on so many music videos that are never going to get released.
Yeah.
There's like 16, 17 music videos I shot already that I'm not even releasing. But can I like write that off as like that's a failed investment? No, because like I've learned so much from it. Like I can now script, direct, edit all of that stuff on my own, because I genuinely spend that money on like becoming a better person. That was my school. You know, I don't think there's a failed investment. I don't think you can fail if you unless you like stop. If you stop, that's when you failed.
Wow. And how's something like the merchandise?
We're getting into merch.
Yeah.
I'm dropping like 2 clothing lines by the end of this year. One's called OSO Apparel. It's a really creative concept. So OSO Apparel is like, I'm designing like 90% of what goes on to OSO Apparel, but I'm also working with like a bunch of creators who don't have merch and helping them create a merch line under OSO Apparel. So like kind of like how Urban Monkey is doing it.
Yeah.
But so like you have rappers, singers, influencers, media people, all these people who don't have merch and don't have the time to like sit and create or think about the delivery, production aspect of any of that. I'm gonna handle that entire back end of it, including the design. And they're gonna have their merch on the website and they're gonna sell through that. So that's OSO Apparel is that, and it's my individual like OSO merchandise coming from that. And then there's another brand that I'm dropping by the end of the year, which is high fashion, which is the stuff that I'm wearing now. So yeah, those 2 things. But I think merch will play a big deal once we drop it.
Yeah. I think it'll be the start of something big, and I think it'll create the identity even better.
Yeah.
And once people start supporting it, and I think the name gets around a lot faster than it is right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be exciting. You've made it clear that there's a cult formation that's going to happen.
I mean, I'm not even like trying to create it. It just seems to be like happening on its own, you know?
Yeah. Wherever it goes.
It goes. Because like I started this whole thing like on stage. Every time I go, I do this OSO chant, right? And people just started screaming OSO in the crowd, and I started repeating that as well. And now wherever I'm going, people are just saying it like it's like a cult, you know, like that OSO. Like it's interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
It's just this definitely thing.
It has a nice sound to it.
Yeah.
I can imagine 1,000 people, or fuck that. I can imagine a stadium.
Yes.
Screaming OSO, and then like, fuck, you'll need cops there. Like,
I had to have cops, and I did the JSS festival. We did like a music festival, and I was headlining the festival, and we had to have cops come in on stage to like get us out of the venue safely, because we were going like ham. Me and my friend Chirayu, who's an amazing Kannada artist, genuinely phenomenal human being as well. Me and him were headlining together, and Alex, we were on stage, we were performing our hearts off. Me, Kennedy also was there, and the show was going really well, but we kind of started like inciting a little bit of like aggression in the crowd, because we were like having this mosh pit thing happening in the crowd. And I think some people in the crowd in the back who didn't know what a mosh pit was got like aggressive with people who were trying to be in the mosh pit and started hitting people. And then the dean and the principal had to come on and say, I'm the front there. They came, held my DJ, pulled off the USB from the thing and everything else, and they come and pull me from the back, right, to get me off there. And then the crowd starts like going, OSO Chirayu, OSO Chirayu, and then they started like pushing onto stage to make sure that we can continue performing. And then cops had to come circle us and get us out of there and stuff. It was a dope video.
Wow. It's pretty, that's quite a story.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want that to happen more.
It's good to look back on some of these things.
Yeah.
Maybe one of my last segments for the episode. So, are we looking at Akhil as a married man in the future?
I don't know. I hated the concept actually.
Yeah.
Till like very recently. I still don't want to do it, but I think it's a decent concept if you can find the right person.
Yeah. I think that's where it is.
Yeah. And I don't think the right person exists.
Yeah, I think that's the fuck up.
Yeah. Because you're constantly like the right person could exist right now, but you won't be you in a bit, right? Like you're changing constantly and you're banking on the fact that the other person who's maybe very like you right now is also changing in the same direction, mentally, physically, emotionally, right? Because you're constantly going in a different direction and you don't even know where you're going to, right? You're growing as a person or maybe even like declining as a person. And you're expecting your partner to be either like that in some way or the other, right? So right now, at this moment, there could be someone who's exactly the same. But is that going to work out in like a 60-year legal government arrangement? I don't know.
Yeah. And a lot of these fights that happen is you're not the same anymore.
Yeah. And I come from like that broken home thing, like where my pop split, right?
Yeah.
So my thought process for like marriage is, and like love is so different. Like, because I guess like people see me as this artist and see me like doing a whole lot of this stuff. They must be like, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just this guy who like a fuck boy, right? And I'm just sleeping around like with like a ton of people and anything. I'm exactly the opposite. I'm so drastically away from that concept. Like it's very hard for anyone to even get close to me.
Yeah.
Forget like emotionally close to me, and I have to really like someone to even like get in any way physical with that person, right? So like for me the concept of marriage is sacred, but I don't know if it's for me or not, but I love the aspect of love.
That's sweet. Let's talk about Mission Accomplished. What did it mean to you? Why did you make that piece of art? And walk us through that piece of art.
Mission Accomplished was produced by my brother Akhil Oso, and he's one of the only artists that I have like 80 songs with that I queued up to be dropping. I had this whole thing of I wanted to represent my culture a lot in sound and in what I'm doing. And he captured that essence of production really well because he brought the veena as the lead melody on that beat. And that was pretty sick. Mission Accomplished is like broken into like 3 parts. The chorus for it is very, braggadocious in a way, where I'm talking about like, mission accomplished, I made it. Like there's a line that says like kneel down to the prophet or something like that. And that's very like, I've made it kind of thing. But then it goes straight from that like, wow, I'm amazing, to the exact opposite in the verse. And I love having this like dichotomy of feelings in a song, like this real crazy dynamic range of like emotions. My job as an artist is just to make people feel. That's it. If you can hear my music and feel anything, I've done a good job making that piece of art. That's it. So it goes from that really braggadocious chorus into this thing of like not being able to get this person that I'm very in love with, you know, because of like different circumstances that are coming there. And even though I think she looks beautiful, looks perfect, everything else, it's just never going to work out between me and her. And then the bridge right before the chorus transitions into talking about my mother and like how, you know, it's difficult being a single mother, and I hope I haven't let her down, and I'm trying not to let her down. So it goes through like these 3 really interesting aspects in the whole song, from like braggadocious, heartbreak, single parent struggle, and kind of like feeling sometimes incompetent as a child, to hoping that I'll do better, and then straight back to braggadocious chorus. Yeah.
There's 2 ways someone listens to a track. The first one is, hey, I'm listening to this, I like it. The second one is where, hey, you know what, let me dig a little deeper into the artist and why he's written something, and then it starts to make more sense and you start to enjoy the track a lot more. So maybe this is something that I'd want to do on this podcast with you in the future, right? Where maybe a year down the line, maybe a year later, where we dedicate the episode to just talking about
lyrics.
The music, the lyrics. And I feel like
I like anyway, you care so much about it.
Yeah, because you anyway you have like this big vision, and I've always felt that about artists, and I've also felt that about like from an audience perspective, like some of the artists that I listen to, I feel like it's almost an insult the way I listen to the music, because I haven't invested into it. Because if I really like, now I'll say like, you know what, I really like some of Drake's songs, but then if you ask me about it, I might know just like 30% of the story around that song. But maybe that's where I'd want to invest into your music, where we dedicate these episodes to kind of talk about those integral, pivotal lines of your music. And I think it'll be pretty
really
dope. Yeah.
Talking about that, pop music is kind of structured like that, where like the really, really good pop artists, even like hip hop artists, like if you look at Kendrick Lamar, have you heard Swimming Pools by Kendrick Lamar? No. It's like Wake Up, Drink, that song.
No.
It's super famous, and it's like a proper club song. Like you can throw it in any club and everyone's gonna sing along with it. It's about his uncle like having an alcohol addiction and passing away from it, I think. And it's insane when you break down and actually get into the lyrics of a song, how deep it can go.
How deep?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, I understand we were doing this bit to kind of talk about Mission Accomplished, but, you can't do it in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned it, and we'll put this in. But I think when we do a part 2, I think let's dedicate it to, like a structured way of breaking down the top 10 lines of your songs.
For sure.
And what it means to you.
Done. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Akhil. Thanks for doing this.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for doing this. I think this was awesome, man.
Thank you.
I think I usually have like a estimation of how a certain episode will go, and this went like 4x of what I thought it would.
Let's go, episode 81.
This was, I think you're a vibe, and and there are a lot of people I meet here, and a lot of people I want to stay in touch with, but there are also some people that I want to grow with, and I feel like I want to grow with you. Like,
that's amazing.
As things go on, I feel like I want to be part of this journey that you're having. I think it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty awesome, man.
Thank you. Why don't you manifest it? 1 year from now, where is this place going to be? OAPN. What's happening? Manifest it today.
I can tell you because there is a vision, but maybe behind the camera.
Okay.
Because these are like, these are those secret sauces that, anyway.
Good, man.
But thanks for coming here.
Of course.
Thanks for being so open about everything. And I want to leave you with one thing, right? You spoke about a lot of the struggles that you had in your life, mostly personal. And for someone to sit here and say that with clarity only defines the amount of time that a person has spent by himself in figuring things out, in accepting them and building strength around it. So I feel like if you know it, great. If you don't, let me remind you, you've done something that 8 out of 10 people aren't able to do today. And kudos to that, man.
Thank you.
Kudos to the fact that you sat here and you spoke about it, and now you've figured out this medium, this channel to spread that strength. And that's where the duty begins as an artist, where you're able to give back that strength to people around you. And I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
And I respect you for that.
Thank you.
All the best with your clothing. I hope you make a lot of fucking money in your life.
I'm sending it to you. The moment it's made, I'm sending it to you. I'm sending you like a bunch.
Wow, please do.
The clothing, not the money.
Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, let me reconsider that. No, I'm kidding. I like what you're making. I like the team we have. We always love anyone who's working with the community, with the team. It's nice to see that you have people working with you and you're working with them. All the best for everything.
Thank
all
you.
the best for bigger stage shows.
Thank you.
I want to be in a place where I'm in the front row cheering up for your show.
Let's go.
Backstage, where the country has realized who Akhil is. Right?
Thank you.
I'm going to wait for that day. Kill it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming here, man.
Of course.
Thanks for coming here. This was Akhil Oso for y'all. This was episode 81. We have a lot to take away from this. I hope you did too. We'll see you on the next one.